Chapter 5. Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from old, from everlasting. Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth hath brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel. And he shall stand and feed in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God, and they shall abide. For now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. And this man shall be the peace, when the Assyrian shall come into the land, and when he shall tread in our palaces, then shall we raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men. And they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod in the entrances thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrians when he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth within our borders. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as the dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots, and I will cut off the cities of thy land, and throw down all thy strongholds. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thy cities. And I will execute vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Micah is not a huge book like Isaiah is, or Ezekiel is, or some of the others are. But it is a powerhouse of a book, and it becomes fairly obvious as we go through here why it's included. But there's stuff here that you just don't find in a lot of other places quite as well expressed. Here is probably the most well-known prophecy from the Old Testament talking about the Savior coming, and it includes literature, it includes language that is remarkable. And it says, but thou, Bethlehem, out of thee shall he come that shall be ruler in Israel. This is probably the best known of all the Messianic scriptures in the Old Testament. And it's interesting, it's mentioned in Matthew, it's mentioned in Luke. The word Ephratah is added to the name of the city Bethlehem because there was another town called Bethlehem that was located in the tribal territory that was Zebulun, and they wanted to make it plain that it wasn't the Bethlehem that was in Zebulun, it was the Bethlehem that was in Judah. Anyway, if you take a look in Matthew chapter 2 verse 1 or Luke chapter 2 verses 1 through 20, it talks about the Savior being born in Bethlehem. And one of the things that you sort of, where you see that the leaders of people are usually among the dumbest, not usually among the smartest, was one of the things that they accused the Savior of, is he could not possibly be the Savior because he was from Nazareth. And everybody knew that the Savior had to be born in Bethlehem. Guess what? If you'd had half a brain, you could have figured that out. You could have asked anybody of the common people because they all knew. Now, in verses 5 to 15, basically the question is asked, will Israel become very powerful? And the answer is definitely yes. Israel will triumph over all her enemies. Under Christ, Israel will be able to do that. And there are 3 things that are going to happen. The first one is that the Savior will help defend against all attacks by any imperial power. Number 2, Israel will be exalted. In other words, able to manufacture, able to make, able to bring together all that it needs to defend itself. It won't be an attacking power by and large to go out into the world and attack, although it may have to defend itself by attacking those who are attacking it, but it will be exalted. That means its ability will be enhanced, enlarged, empowered to defend itself. And number 3, verses 10 to 11, is the Lord will exterminate, it says, the war materiel of those countries that would attack Israel. Stuff won't work, it'll fall apart, whatever. But any of the countries that would attack Israel will find out that some or all of their war material is not going to work the way they wanted it to. So that will be preventing the possibility of war. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. We know that, again, you need to understand here, remember, we are talking about interpretations of things, and we're talking about 3 and 4 translations of things, and we are losing some of the meaning of this. And so the actual words would convey the actual meaning of the Lord, and we're only getting part of it. Asher, which was another name for Assyria, was used to symbolize the nations that would attack Israel, because in Micah's time, Asher was the world dominant power. And so he would use the world dominant power as an example of a country that would attack Israel. It also says that Israel will set up between 7 and 8. It will set 7, yea, set up 8. There's a specific reason for that phraseology. Princes under the commander, which is the Messiah, which is the Savior, Jesus Christ. And these 7 to 8 leaders will drive back the attackers and ultimately be victorious. 7 shepherds, or 8, basically is a figure of speech in Hebrew that basically means we'll set up whatever is necessary to do the job.